Okay, we're here to talk a little bit about discovering skills for the journey. And if you've been following along with Sarah, who was a sixth grader and now is in her mid-20s with OCD, and some of our other sections of the compass, at this point we're going to talk a little bit about some of the specific skills that I think were helpful for Sarah and her family. And you may see a theme here with some of the other material that we're going to put up, other diagnoses, depression, anxiety, because one of the key things that I think is important as a general skill for kids to learn and for families to utilize is the skill of externalizing, labeling the problem, helping your child to understand the problem. And so for Sarah, that was one of the things that she found very helpful, even as a sixth grader, when we could give her an explanation of what was going on, and we could help her label it and name it and know it. And with OCD in particular, it helps kids be able to recognize that there's a reason why their brain gets stuck in thought loops, in a sense, and when they recognize that and label it, then they know what they've got to work on. So I've had kids label it, worry brain, or lots of others come up with their own creative name for it, OCD brain, Stinky Pete, or whatever. But when they are able to label it as a thing and then start putting down the thoughts and the anxieties that maybe go with that, like literally I will write it out sometimes with them in the office, or have their parents do that, and write it on a piece of paper and set it in a chair across from them so that it's externalized. It's this thing that they can look at, and then we can begin to start talking about, okay, when worry brain tells you this, how do you deal with it? What emotions does it trigger? And then how do you cope with those emotions? How do you evaluate whether worry brain's telling you something that's real, or whether it's telling you something that's a distortion or not real? And so that externalizing skill is, I think, a starting point. Being able to label, identify, and start there is a good place to start with lots of things with kids, especially with OCD. That was really, really helpful for Sarah. And really, she did an amazing job working with that those first few years. And she and her family really worked on and developed lots of strategies and just lots of conversations about that worry brain, that OCD brain. And then, when she hit junior high, she had some struggles, as we've said before. We had to make some adjustments, and she had to kind of relook at. It's like worry brain found some new tricks to try to fool her, and so she had to catch and recognize, oh, okay, now it's trying to get me to think about these things. It's trying to get me to do these things, and then once she kind of learned those tricks and got those under control, she settled back down and really actually did very well as she went on through high school. And as I've said before, by the end of high school, first part of college, we were able to get off medications. She still sometimes has a little bit of the OCD flare-ups, but she catches it and copes with it and manages it very, very well. Very successful young lady who's doing great. So that's some specific skills to work on for OCD.